Self-discipline is self-love in action. This is why self-love is difficult. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lata Kokal, previously known as Neha Soni. I am the author of Wired for Self-Love. We are going through chapter excerpts from my book, and we're on chapter 10, in which I'm talking about creating meaning in your new identity. Now, it all sounds a little complex. These words are abstract. So in this video, I'm going to share 3 steps with you that will help you put self-love into practice on a regular basis, on a daily basis. I talk briefly about Ikigai, and it's certainly not the Ikigai that you know that has been commercialized. Mine is a more Japanese way of looking at life and finding meaning in everyday small things on a regular basis. Commercialization has nothing to do with it. Okay, so the practice of self-love is centered around being before doing and having. You have to be self disciplined in order for you to achieve greater things in life, and that can be anything that is meaningful to you. If you want it, you show it that you are going to do everything you possibly can. And in my previous videos, I explained to you how by adopting an identity, you can step into an empowered version of yourself. That's what you will need to do on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, in order for your identity, your new identity, having meaning, okay, to find meaning. Now, what you want to do is number 1, be intentional about your day. When you want to get something done, you make it a point that you are going to list a bunch of things that you are going to do and be intentional about completing every single thing that is on that list as much as possible, or the ones at least that are very important to you. I am not someone that is in favor of a very, very long to-do list. I think it's too much. Of someone to ask that of themselves. If you have 3 things on your list, make it very simple. Start with 1 or 2 and then add the third one if you want. And don't beat yourself up if you are not able to finish it. The idea is to keep improving yourself and building that consistency and becoming more intentional about your day. So for example, if you have, okay, you're going to complete writing articles. So give yourself a time block and say, from this time to this time, I'm going to write. I'm going to dedicate my time for these many hours, these many minutes to writing that particular article. Go on and research it. Okay, so what are the 3 things? Research about that article and watch videos or whatever it is that is important for you to do. Go ahead and do that. And then write that article, draft it, schedule it, boom. 3 things on your list, done. Be intentional about that. And then you need to find success in your daily habits. Create a habit of doing something daily so that you build upon it and it becomes a habit. So I am right now putting myself in the habit of making videos, right? Videos that hopefully are going to help people understand a little bit more about themselves, how they can practice self-love, how they can be in relationships, how women can learn to communicate with men, all of those kind of things. So I am putting in effort, and by doing those things as often as I can. I'm not able to upload videos every single day, so I'm scheduling them and I'm having videos come out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that's for my book, chapter excerpts from Wired for Self-Love. and on other days I have them on Wednesdays, sorry, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, for other topics like relationships and dating, right? So that's something that I have been doing. I'm cultivating this habit of recording videos and putting content out there, getting myself in to put content out there regularly. It takes time to do that. I wasn't doing that for a very long time. I was more consistent with writing articles. Now I'm not doing that anymore. So you see, it takes time to get into and build a certain habit. And so every single time you're able to schedule your create a schedule and write those articles or do whatever it is that you need to do uh, with regards to the work you have, the three things that you have on your list, your to-do list, is then you need to take time and schedule time off and take breaks. Now, taking breaks, don't take breaks as if you're doing nothing and it's unproductive, because that's not the case. You When you disengage from certain things that you have been focusing so badly and so deeply into, it somehow rejuvenates you, and you come back. If you come back to that task, you come back to it with a new sense of energy, and maybe new inspirational thoughts that you may find when you don't find them when you're doing the thing that you need to do. When you take breaks and do mundane things like going for a walk or making yourself a cup of tea or having coffee, or just very mundane things that you don't even have to use your head. And that's when ideas, other inspirations, thoughts come into your awareness that can build upon the previous thoughts that you had. So, taking breaks, scheduling in your breaks is important. So, it's not something that's like, okay, work, 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 and schedule break time. No, break time does not belong in the work schedule. It does. It does, because you're human and you have needs. You have toilet needs, you have needs to eat and drink. Keep yourself hydrated, my friends. So take breaks, schedule your breaks in within the to-do list that you have for yourself. And the third thing you want to do is reward and praise yourself. Okay, uh, acknowledge what you did for yourself, because you are only starting your journey to an improved version of yourself, and in it takes time to build that habit of whatever is important for you. So when you are praising yourself, what happens is that part of you that does not get acknowledged otherwise, or has not been getting acknowledgement, does get seen and heard and validated, and you get a sense of, yeah, I'm actually doing something, and I don't have to be very hard on myself. This is especially for people who have been hard on themselves, because narcissists have very high expectations of their children, and those children, they end up forcing those kind of uh, beliefs that make no sense at all on themselves, and just kind of pushing themselves to rise to a very high standard, when that's the expectation of not themselves, but that was something that the narcissist expected. So be very careful of when you are pushing yourself too hard, when you are saying, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and you're just in do mode. You don't know how to be. Okay, yes, you are creating the discipline, the routine, it's important to you, but you also need to acknowledge that and trust the pace your body is at, and do your best. Okay, not someone else's best. Do the best that you can do today. Tomorrow it's going to be slightly better, it might be worse, but consistently doing it is important because you're trying to build a habit. It takes 66 days or up to 70 days to actually see the benefit of meditation and your meditation practice. Now, I have meditated for many, many years. I saw a similar pattern when it came to giving up caffeine. Okay, so I identify so much as a caffeine drinker. I don't know what it is like. What is my life without chai, right? Uh, I was searching for a new meaning in my life. That's when I stopped writing completely and did nothing, absolutely nothing on social media. I stayed off. I was doing creative work with my hands. I love creating things with my hands, just getting crafty. All of those things were little things that helped me stay present and not distract myself. What also happened was, as I was building that thing, it was giving me joy, right? It gives me joy to see something that I was making. It's building and building and building. Maybe a sweater. I can make a sweater out of this. This is what I was thinking about it back then. Now, the sweater per se is not as important as the habit in and of itself of sticking with that project so that I don't use tea to distract myself and stick with something that is bringing me joy, because I know what the damages of drinking tea can be. Caffeine can dehydrate, and I was seeing the symptoms of dehydration in my body. I observed all of these things, and it actually took me about the same amount of time, 66, 70 days, is when I started to feel a little bit more normal, and not drinking tea became a part of my life. So now I don't identify necessarily with being the chai drinker I used to be. I will drink it, I do drink it, but if I don't drink it, I can still make it through the day, right? So rebuilding that taking that shift, it takes time. And my acknowledging the effort that I'm putting in and sharing that with others, it helps reinforce the boundaries and practices that I have been putting in to make my own life better. Okay, so this is how you can practice, put to practice whatever it is that you're trying to build, and find small moments of joy when you are able to finish a task on your list. Yes, it gives you a dopamine high, does it not? Drinking tea does the exact same thing, but now it's not the tea, it's something else that is doing the giving me the dopamine kicks, right? So you need to discipline yourself. And how do you discipline yourself? It's by doing something consistently and praising yourself when you put in that effort, and scheduling breaks, because as you are doing the work that you need to do, you need to also schedule break time for yourself. Okay, that's when you give yourself moments to just be and relax. And then you have new thoughts, inspiration, ideas that pop into your head that you can go and make new videos about, write more articles about, or whatever it is that you're doing. So I hope this is helpful to you. If it is, please share this with someone that who might benefit from it. Stay tuned for more information about my upcoming course on self-love. It starts on the 9th of April. If you are interested, send me an email. My email is in the description below. I'll see you in the next one.